Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another edition of Supernatural Talk. Um, and well, Nick is in and out tonight. Right now,
Yep,
he is in. Right now, he is in.
but I'll probably be out soon. So
Are you having weather out there, Nick?
I think we lost him again.
We lost him again. But that's okay. So in the meantime, I'll just take him off until he gets back on. Tonight, we have a special guest. He is the writer of these three books right here, Scareville. And all of them have come out this year, right?
Yep. All three have come out this year.
So his name is John Ward. Um, Tell us, John, who in the hell are you?
So, I mean, that could be a super long and convoluted answer, or I can keep it short and sweet. I don't know how to really approach that, but I am a 33-year-old paranormal investigator and author of a middle grade horror series based out of Ohio. So, got my start in writing last year around September. That's when I started planning the Scareville series out. But I've been doing paranormal investigating for about the last decade. Yeah, I'm just a lover of all things spooky, creepy, haunted, horror, you name it. Love it. Anything that gets the blood pumping, really. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah. So how did you get started, and what made you want to write?
Yeah, so great question. I mean, I've always been told from a young age that I was a talented writer and stuff, and I remember writing stories through grade school, middle school, even a little bit into high school, and then obviously as you start to get older, your teachers start to tell you need to either go to college or get a job. Like nobody ever along the way tells you, hey, pursue your passions, your dreams, stuff like that. So I went the wayside and did both college and work, and decided to stop writing for a long time, and I bounced around from job to job, and I mean, I'm still working a normal job, but found I've never been happy, and started thinking back to, I've always loved horror. My dream is to one day open a haunted house attraction like for Halloween and stuff. Hopefully that'll happen one day. But all that being said, I love horror, and I thought back to how much I enjoyed writing at a young age and being able to use my imagination. And I was out at a local park here in Canton called Sippo Lake Park, and I was out on the boat dock there and just racking my brain on what I could do to get into the horror industry. And I turn around and look around. There's a library up on the top of the hill, and I had that light bulb moment where I'm like, oh, I could write books. And then I started brainstorming, like, where would I be the happiest and most excited to write? And I thought back to how much I enjoyed reading Goosebumps as a young reader and teenager, and I was like, you know what, I want to reinvigorate the excitement in that space, and decided that was what I was going to do. And immediately the floodgates opened, and the ideas started flooding into my brain, and I just went to work right away, started writing and planning things out. The rest is
That's
history.
that's pretty awesome. And I have been following this since you've been putting these out. Um, and correct me if I'm wrong. The third one that you put out, Monsters of Mountain Hope, that's actually the first one you wrote, right?
Yeah. So that was the first idea that really flew into my head, and just immediately started writing it, but it didn't make sense to be like a lead off story for a series, if that made sense. So,
It does.
um, long story short, I had this weird concept in my brain where like I was going to have a prologue and an epilogue that had nothing to do with the actual story. And, it was going to basically feature the character that's in Welcome to Scareville, which turned out to be the first book. And I had shared the quote unquote prologue with my friends. It was going to be like its own separate story aside from the stories going on in the background, kind of a thing. And my friends were like, why don't you just make that a separate story? So I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then that's what turned into Welcome to Scareville. And that's where I was able to start making that the first story. And I could have done Monsters of Mount Hope second, but um, I don't know. I decided that was probably a better option to be the third book in the series for whatever reason.
Well, I do have to say, um, this is a creepy looking creepy looking cover. Um, I really like it. It's subtle. It's not loud, but it tells you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. um, and I definitely like how they did the wraparound going all the way to the back, so that it's not just the front cover and then a boring blank space in the back.
Yep. Yeah, I work with an illustrator off of Fiverr actually, and he does really great work. He takes exactly what I tell him, like is on my brain and what I'm imagining, and he's able to bring them to life. And every once in a while, I'll have to have him make some small minor changes, but for the most part, he nails exactly what I'm asking for, which is a lot of fun to see the final product. So
Okay, so you're more or less dictating what the cover is going to be.
yeah, I'll tell him essentially what I'm looking for on the cover, and he does. It's a custom illustration, so he hand draws it. I'm sure it's through a computer program of some sort, but yeah, he's able to make all those visions come to life, which is a lot of fun.
It looks like it's hand drawn the way that the shadows, the shading, some of the lines, the way that he did it. It looked like he hand drew it and
Yep.
then was able to digitize it. He did a very good job. It's very different from the rest of the covers. It's not as colorful,
Mm-hmm.
you could say. Um, but even still, it tells you a lot.
Yeah. Well, the interesting with the first two book covers, obviously I had like a single main antagonist in those stories, and I wanted that to be the highlight of the book covers. Now, with Monsters of Mount Hope, there's obviously multiple antagonists, and that's why it's kind of harder to highlight that, especially with the description and how they are in the book until the very end with the big reveal. Like it was kind of hard to conceptualize that book cover, but still a lot of fun to figure out.
It is, and this one here that is just one creepy looking dude.
Yeah, so that's the main antagonist from the first book. His name is Mr. Enstrom, and if have you ever seen the TV show Supernatural? I'm assuming, but
I'm a huge fan of it.
okay. So I drew a lot of inspiration from a character on that show, and I wonder if you could pick out who that might be just based off of the book cover.
The one that comes to mind, honestly, would be Loki.
So it's not Loki. So the character I drew inspiration from for the look, sound, vibe, all that stuff was actually the guy who played Death on the show.
Oh, Julian.
Yep.
Julian Richards. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. He's a creepy dude.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to go for. Like, I mean, he was one of those. Like, he played a pretty minor role in Supernatural, but like he had a profound impact on me with just how convincing he was in that character, and that's who I drew inspiration for the look, the sound, the vibe, all that stuff. Obviously, you have to make differences, so you're not taking anything from someone else's character, but I still wanted to go for that feel with Mr. Enstrom. So,
And and I had completely forgotten about this when I asked you if you were going to try to integrate it into the story, but you did integrate the Ouija board into the cover at least on
yep.
this one. So, and there goes Nick.
He's
Nick,
got to be having weather issues. I'm assuming.
he, he he has to, because he this normally does not happen with him tonight. Every now and then he'll have some sort of a glitch, but I have not seen that boy have this bad of an issue before. If you haven't met her yet, this is Adrian. She
Hello.
runs the Colorado chapter of my team. And Adrian, I don't know if you've met John, but
I know the name.
he's the one who's trying to scare all the little kids with these books.
Uh-huh. Yeah, actually, I think I might not actually met you, but I comment on a lot of your stuff, and
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we've been friends on Facebook for a while now. But no, we haven't met in person. Obviously, with you being in Colorado and me in Ohio, that's a long trek. But no, yeah, we've been friends for a while on Facebook for sure.
Yeah, I go to well, I did go to Waverly Hills. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to live in Kentucky, so
Gotcha.
that was kind of fun to go there when Jeremy put it on. But other than that, I stay in my little hole for the most part. It's better for everyone.
Yeah, right next to the foot of the mountains.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
It's a good place to bury bodies, right, Brad?
Oh, here we go.
He gives the nervous laugh.
I saw him say death, so you know, he's the one I'd bury at the foot of the mountains.
Oh, that's because he was talking about the guy from Supernatural, Death.
I didn't see that, so I'm just going to assume that he's just talking some shit like he usually does. So I'm just going to say it first.
Well, I've already given John a heads up about your weekly requirement with Brad. So have at it.
Yeah, we just have to make sure that he understands that I haven't forgotten. I'm going to kill some dogs. I haven't forgotten that I'm going to bury you with your ass up in the air so that I can kick it every time I walk by you. It's all good.
And Joe is absolutely right. Awesome, spooky looking covers.
They are.
Thank you.
Now, this one here is my favorite. I just love everything about this one.
Yeah.
It is, well, it's by far the most colorful one out of all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's still it's light, but it's still dark. And I really enjoy how you put all of these candy things on that pumpkin head.
Yep. I wanted to just come up with my idea of what a spirit of Halloween might look like, for teenage, like where a teenage brain would go. And obviously the pumpkin head's pretty standard in a lot of cases. And I'm like, what can I do to make a pumpkin head a little bit different and give the teenager kind of vibe to it? Like they came up with the idea and wanted to do the lollipop, eyes and the gumdrop nose and the candy corn teeth and all that stuff just kind of flew in my head. I'm like, what would make a good nose? What would make a good eye? What would make good teeth? And that's just kind of what came out. So I was definitely happy with how it turned out.
Haven't not read the story yet, but I can actually see the animation with this pumpkin. I can see his eyes going in circles and hypnotizing you. Just by like with the red lines and all of that, I see that happening.
Did we put a link up to where we can get these books? I have some grandkids that I would love to let their mom deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have links readily available, but I can always send them to you, Adrian. But they're available pretty much any online retailer that carries books. Okay. So Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Walmart.
Perfect, thank you.
All that stuff. So, or if you want signed author copies, I can provide those too. So.
Yeah. Anybody that I know that writes books does, and there's quite a few of us actually. It's kind of cool. Some of them, mediumship books or even their life stories. It's kind of cool when the person who actually wrote them.
100%. And for all the pitfalls that COVID gave us in 2020, it brought back reading big time. Like there's a lot of people that are back into reading now. So books are starting to make a comeback. Bookstores are opening up left and right, between whether it's big box stores or indie bookstores. It's just it's exciting to see. So
I think that's a lot better. Number one, I'm old. I want that thing in my hand. I don't want to see it on a computer. But second of all, if you lose, your computer crashes, you lose your phone, whatever it is you're reading on, it's gone. It's done. You don't have it anymore.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm trying to find that. Okay, here it is. Finally.
Hey, Brittany.
I was trying to wrap around for the latest one that comes out next week.
Power goes out. You still read by candlelight, right, Joe? I ain't above it, trust me. Oh, wow. That puts a different spin on Elf on the Shelf.
That was the first thing I thought of. Elf on the Shelf comes alive.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I had come up with I wanted to write a Christmas horror story, and everybody talks about creepy dolls, and nobody ever talks about creepy Christmas elf dolls. Like they have those creepy, stares on their faces, and nobody ever brings them up. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make a horror story about Christmas elves being, mischievous little things and coming to life at night and that sort of thing, and wanted to make people afraid of them. So that's the route I took. Now, obviously, I had to make them different from Elf on the Shelf, so there's no issues there. But yeah, so that's kind of where the inspiration for that one came, and I'm really excited with how that story came out.
The closest that I can think of that comes to that would be the gnomes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But gnomes are not necessarily Christmassy. Elf on the Shelf, that's Christmas.
Yep.
I hope my connection's better this time. It was driving me crazy.
We could tell.
You go run around the block and calm down.
I was frustrated as hell.
I know. I see that.
I know, we kept seeing you pop in, out, in, out, in, out.
So scream into your pillow. Get it out. Get it over with. It's done. It's over.
No.
Done.
Well, actually, I should probably bring this up quickly for what Tom just said, who's watching. Forgot, yeah, that's his old costume because he was Elf on the Shelf one time.
Elf on the Shelf's creepy, man.
What I really like is how on the here in the back, how their eyes glow.
Yep.
Silhouettes.
Which is interesting. I didn't actually write that in the story. That was something that the illustrator did on his own accord with the book cover, and I didn't hate it, so I just decided to keep it. But yeah, I think that's just really cool how that kind of turned out. So
it really is.
Yeah.
And now I'm really wishing that he did something for the back of the first one, because that is the one that doesn't really have something on the back.
So with that one, what he did, he basically, it wasn't a wraparound like a continuation of the same scene for whatever reason. I don't know why he didn't do it that way, but essentially he illustrated the former funeral home that the store opened up in the back of it. So it was just kind of like two separate scenes on that one. But
so that's what that is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's like the basically the store opens up in a former funeral home that closed down, and that's what he drew on the back of the book. So
that is giving me Salem's Lot vibes.
Brad, don't even start making a Roach villain. That's not going to happen.
Why not?
Because I don't want it to happen.
Well, we don't always get what we want, and we always get what we don't want.
Yeah, I myself have actually just started doing a couple of Christmas horror stories, but they're not book length; they're just short stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the one that I just started today is, okay, what happens when a little kid finds out Santa Claus does not exist? What happens there?
There's a lot of ideas for that, Jeremy.
Interesting.
No, I'm already there, Nick.
You probably have some of my ideas already, my thoughts already. What's up, Jill?
Hey, Jill.
So how has the reception been like for? I've seen a lot of positivity on your posts, but I haven't really been paying attention to any of the like the reviews on Amazon, or Barnes and Nobles. How's the reception from the public been for you?
I mean, the reviews have all been really good so far. I've had the lowest review that I've had, like with a review. Like I've gotten a couple on Goodreads that have given 2 stars and stuff, but they didn't leave a review, so could just be a troll. I don't know, but the lowest score I've gotten was 3 stars that actually left a review, and they had knocked some things with my grammar in the first book, which is understandable. It was my first release and probably messed some things up or missed some things, but they enjoyed the story, which to me is more important than anything else. That's what I aim for. If I can write a story that people enjoy and they can view it in their head like a movie while they're reading it. That's my goal. And if I do that, that's okay.
I would have a problem with that. This is why I don't do stuff like this, because if I saw some kind of crap like that, somebody on my you know what? All right, I will see your grammar bull crap. You write one, and you let me know. Or if you can do better, let's have it.
Absolutely.
I don't do well with people that just want to. They just want to nitpick to be nitpicking. I mean, are they that miserable?
It's like what Joe said. Those English majors have to be critics.
Well, it's funny he says that, but like one of my good friends, her name's Sarah Stoner. She former English major, and she read the books, and she said she didn't really see that many issues to it. So, I don't know.
I mean, come on, you even watch the news now, and there is nothing. Not only is it not grammatically correct, we wouldn't get by with that when we were in school, but the language, y'all. Okay, I speak like that, but I can do that. I'm not on TV. I'm not out there. You know, I can do things like that, but I work. I work in a call center.
There's Sarah Stoner.
Hi, Sarah. Yep. I work in a call center where it's all professional setting. It's all inbound calls from companies. I don't know how many times, actually more often than not, it's not ask, it's ax. I need to ask you something. You ain't gonna ask me anything. Yeah. If you want to ask me something, that is perfect, but no.
Well, that is the beauty when you're a writer, because when you're writing somebody's dialogue, you can actually do that because you want the dialogue to read and sound exactly like the person you want to do it. So if it's going to be, I want to ask you a question, you can write it down just like that.
Right. But we're in real life here. And and that's what I'm saying. This is normal life now. I mean, words, grammar, spelling is gone. It's done. There is no such thing anymore. The dictionary should just go out the window because people are doing whatever they want, how they want, when they want.
Pretty much.
I'm over your threats on the internet forever. You will be prime suspect. Well, no joke. That's a well-known fact. Yes, I will be.
Yeah.
And I will probably be the reason too.
And John, I actually do remember that post that you made not too long ago about grammar, and I thought, dude, just enjoy the book.
Yep. Well, it's like I told one of my friends, I forget which one it was at that point, but I was kind of venting about it, and like once I send my book off to the editor I work with, like if she recommends I do X, Y, or Z, I'll make those changes. But I'm not going to resubmit for her to re-edit my book and pay her twice to do just that minimal second approach to it. So if there's, like, for example, with How to Create a Monster, I added like 6 or 7 chapters post-edit and made sure it was all good by myself. But if I missed anything, it's because of that piece. I wasn't going to pay her full cost again to edit 6 chapters. So it's just like, what do you do? But
so some of these people, they charge you per time they work on something, even if it's the same piece of work.
Yep.
Wow. That don't work for me.
But she is very good at what she does. So like she hasn't steered me wrong yet. So that's why I continue to work with her. And honestly, I'm pretty intelligent myself. So if I do have mistakes, it's going to be pretty minimal. If at all, but you can never be perfect.
No,
we're not robots.
Yeah.
Even on some of the major books, like Stephen King, I found typos and mistakes in his books.
Yep.
And those things go through probably 20 editors.
Oh, at least.
And still something ends up being incorrect or misspelled.
It's good to know that everyone's human. And it's good to let that go. It's It doesn't make the rest of us feel like we're so stupid.
Yep, and I try not to even stress about it. I know a lot of writers, like, they want everything to be like, I do want it to be as perfect as possible. I don't want it to come out the wrong way, but like, I'm not going to drive myself nuts and lose sleep over, if there's a potential typo I might have missed. Like, it's going to happen.
No. Joe, you're talking about the boards behind him there. Do I need to send you some? I mean, we can make it happen. I make them. We can make it happen. Poor Joe.
The Ouija boards are fine. They're not hurting anybody.
Not at all. I would even put a planchette on them.
Jan was actually just saying something about that. Where was? Oh yeah, she said that she was looking at your wall and she could do that with her floor.
You know we can. We got resin. We got the molds. Let's do it.
Oh boy, I can see it now. Dance a little jig and sum it up as Zuzu.
Hey, if that's what it takes, we can do this.
Closest thing I got to something like that is an Ouija board blanket, along with a pillow planchette, which both actually came from Spirit Halloween.
There's a pillow planchette?
I got a pillow planchette. I'll have to bring it. I'll have to show it to you guys one of these days.
Put one on top of the other and let's see what happens.
Wow.
And I can 3D a giant planchette for the Ouija board floor. Yeah, you could. I've got the little tiny molds. Well,
I'll be back.
6x4, I think is what it is. 6x5 little Ouija boards, and we can just put them all over the floor. They'll last forever.
So on the subject of Ouija boards, John, what got you interested in them?
So honestly, I was in the camp that was kind of afraid of them for a long time too. However, back when I was doing documentary filmmaking, I'm like, it would be kind of cool to use a Ouija board in a paranormal documentary. And so I called around different antique stores, and I bought my first Ouija board. It was like from the 1960s, one of the William Fold boards. But we wound up using that Ouija board in the documentary, and it's the only time I've ever actually used a Ouija board. And it was you can take them for what they are, but to me, it was a profound experience from what my body and mind and everything went through during that, and was a huge fan of them after that fact. And so I started wanting to collect a bunch of different antique ones. So I've got Ouija boards as old as 1911 all the way up to the 1960s now. Just hanging out.
There was Jeremy when he was down here. We up here. We got the idea to go to a cemetery in Denver where the person, so the story is supposed to be, there's so many different ones, but the real story is supposed to be that the guy who invented the Ouija board, his sister was a medium, and she helped him with it, and she put her name on it to, get it out there. Well, when Warner Brothers was going to buy it, they said, the only way we're going to buy this is if this Ouija board can guess who's going to come in the room. And she was like, okay. He wouldn't do anything. He made it, but he wouldn't go market it or do anything. So she did. And she named it, as a matter of fact. And it said, I guess, I don't know if two of them held it, one of them, whatever it was, but they didn't know who was coming in the room, but it was the owner of the company. And it said his name.
Wow.
And he was like, I'm sold. And that's how that got on market. But we went to Denver and we're like, her tombstone is supposed to be a Ouija board. And I'm like, we got to find this. It's getting dark. We've done wasted time. It's getting dark. We've been through Cheeseman Park and everywhere else. And my husband's looking over here at some senator that died from Colorado. I don't give two shits about that senator. That's not what I'm looking at. And I'm looking out the other side of the window going, come on, we need to go. And there it is. And all he sees is me open that door and go, there it is. And I took off. And it was really, and it is, it's a Ouija board. And it tells the story of it, how she put her name to it. It was her brother's, and it's actually a pretty cool story.
That is really cool.
And it's even better that, you know, how they actually bought it. It worked. Whatever happened, it worked.
And speaking of which, here is the Ouija blanket, if you will.
Heck yeah. Love it.
Put down full screen, Jeremy.
Oh my gosh. Let's play Ouija board.
Let me see. Let me go back up a little bit so I can get a full view of it. There we go.
Wow. Love it.
Yeah, let's play Ouija board.
But that's not enough. I changed my mind. Here's the pillow planchette. And also, if that's not all, I also got an Ouija blanket.
Oh, man.
If it ever starts moving while you're sleeping, you know why.
Well, thanks for Spirit Halloween for making that stuff.
There it is. Yes.
No, I haven't yet, Jill. Not yet.
Yeah, that's her.
Wow.
I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah, Helen Nosworthy. And then on the back of it is this one? Nope.
I don't think I kept a picture of the back.
There you go.
Yeah,
that is the back. Yeah.
Back of it. And this here is where it tells that story.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool going in and checking it out, and it's a pretty tall headstone.
It's huge, yes.
Wow, that's
even
really
just
cool.
by the photo of, even if it's just a photograph, you could still tell the size of it is huge.
I wish, nowhere on there is there a picture of her or her brother.
Yeah, why aren't there any photographs of her? Did any photos just not survive, or
Pazuzu deleted them?
Yeah.
Some people just don't.
No, you haven't, Brad.
Some people just don't put pictures of them on there. So, John, if you ever get a chance to get out into the Denver area, definitely. What's the name of that cemetery, Adrian? Do you remember?
I don't, but I can find it.
Yeah, it seems like it's right there in the middle.
It was not too far from Cheeseman Park.
Yeah, it was. And if I remember right, as soon as we got out of that cemetery, that's where we went into the area that had all of those expensive looking houses.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's in certainly a good area. Now, I wasn't pleased with how those stones were being taken care of. They were in the ground and broken, and no, I wasn't thrilled with that. But the mausoleums that were there were awesome. Tom, what the hell did I say that you did that with?
I don't know what he meant by that, but I don't even know if I want to know.
Boy.
I was going to say, though, I think I found that cemetery for you, Adrian. Was it Fairmount Cemetery?
Paramount, yeah, that sounds about right. There's
John,
also...
Did you get your 50 reviews that you were asking for?
What's that? I'm sorry?
Did you get your 50 reviews that you were asking for?
For the first book, yes. Yeah, I think I'm at 56 now. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
I know that, let's see, we went to, the haunted road. There's a road here that's supposed to be haunted road. Every town has them.
Mm-hmm.
But my husband took us down that road without telling us anything. He knew the history, but I didn't. I had just moved here. And Jeremy had come down, and me and my husband's dad and my husband went. My husband's dad is pushing 70 something.
He's like a little kid.
He is. Okay, so he gets stoned enough. He is a kid. But he did, what do they call that? They called it paranormal courses back then, but what they did was meditation, doing, meditation, mediumship to a point, things like that in college. And so he's always been interested, but never got the chance to do anything. So when, we go somewhere, we take him. Bless his heart, him and his apps, his phone apps.
There we go.
And we're like, okay, Dad, yeah, you got that. That's great. It's not going on any film, but we're like, okay, that's cute. But we get to give him that, at least at the end of his life. We get to give him to go with us. And he believes in it. Absolutely. Does he see? No. And he's not been a part of it. So he's like really disconnected from anything. But Mom, I think, sees.
Yeah.
Of course, she was raised Catholic. So you don't see. Whether you see or not, you don't see. The other day, last summer, she fell. And it got pretty bad because her mind just started going after she fell. She hit her head. They didn't check her for a brain bleed. She had broken ribs. They just sent her home.
Wow.
And one day she's sitting there and I came down and I said something and it's okay. I'm going to go downstairs. She says, wait a minute. Come here. I want to talk to you. Okay. She's sitting here talking. She says, this corner over here, this house was built in 1908. She grew up here. So she goes, that corner right there, that's where Mom had us put our noses. And we didn't get out of that. She said, we had little dirt spots right where those noses went. And I'm like, okay. 45 minutes of this is what happened when we were younger. And I was like, oh, shit. I knew she was going because, she started doing that. She was in the past. Couldn't bring her back. And I came downstairs the next time. She goes, who is in that kitchen? I haven't made it to the kitchen yet. She says, somebody's in that kitchen. Okay. So you hear what I hear, huh? Gotcha. She's like, oh, you hear it too? Yeah. Like, okay. Just wanted to make sure. That was the end of it.
So Jill's got a question here. Do you have a storybook yet with playing a Ouija board's gone bad?
So I don't yet. I did mention Ouija boards in the first book, very lightly. Didn't really touch on them very much at all, but did mention them. But I'm toying around with the idea of between Ouija boards and maybe my own custom idea around some kind of game. I don't know. I'll figure something out in that aspect. I don't know if I want to do just a Ouija board story or not, but.
Well, Tom here says, I remember he's told me about this. He has an autographed Ouija board too that's signed. It died 2 weeks later of a murder-suicide.
Wow. If there was ever a haunted Ouija board, Tom's got it.
Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't brought it with us on our paranormal road trips.
Now, what I'm putting into the chat now is a link to the Scareville Army group. And I've also, come on, here we go. And I've also got this. I don't know if you have updated this since you've done this or not, but this is the only one I was able to find where people can be able to scan that.
Yep.
Now, when they scan that, where does that lead to?
So that QR code will lead them directly to Amazon. So, and the reason I did that was at author events, if someone couldn't buy the day of, I didn't want them going without some form of way. So I was like, here, take this business card. You can scan the QR code and it'll take you to Amazon if you can't do it today, kind of a thing. But that's what that'll be. Now, once those run out, I've been handing them out like candy. I'm going to make some updated ones, probably January or February of this coming year. I'll probably get some new business cards, but.
Okay.
Do you post that picture on your Facebook as well?
Which picture? I'm sorry.
Of your cards, so people can scan that on your Facebook as well.
I may have posted it once a while ago. I don't know that I have recently. But I do post links to Amazon pretty frequently in my posts.
Okay.
Hey, Dawn.
I found it on the Scareville public page.
Okay.
I do not see that in your group page, and I don't know if you have it on your public page. If it is, it's buried down there.
Yeah.
You post a lot of pictures.
I do. I do.
Speaking of, there is one picture that I thought was funny, and I think is worth bringing up because this is probably the scariest picture I have ever seen. Honestly. And
Interested?
Ah,
Yeah.
it is scary.
Love it.
It's terrifying.
R.L. Stein, step out of the way because here comes John Ward.
I hope, man. He needs to retire. They need a new heir apparent. So
He's still going, I think.
he is. He's like 85 years old too. He just writes away. He's.
Hey, you know what? If you're 85 and you still have the
Cognitive ability.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I could not roll that off my tongue. If you still have that at the age of 85, go. Keep going.
I might change teams for this. I need to figure out what his secret is.
Well, there are some writers out there that keep going on until they're in their
Yep.
70s, 80s.
Well, Stephen King's got to be pretty old too by now. I don't know how old Stephen King is, but
He's
He
in
just
his
turned
20s.
76.
76. Yep.
76
I
is
saw
old.
a picture of him the other day, and it was not pretty.
Yeah, he's not looking so. I mean, I know he's still going
Not.
strong, but he's not looking so good though.
Oh, Jen had a question. I'd like to
Yeah,
hear the
I was
answer
about
to
to
this.
flip this one up. Which one did you have the most fun writing, and which one gave you a hard time?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's a really
Well,
good one.
It is a good question. And honestly, I have fun writing all of them. And I'm not going to give the cop out answer and be like, all of them are great and all of them are fun. Because, I mean, they are. But the one I had the most fun writing was actually the second book, which is How to Create a Monster. Out of the first 3 books, that's the longest book. And I actually wrote that in a week. So I just,
Oh, wow.
Oh, check it out. He's got it.
yep, it just kind of flowed out of me and I couldn't stop writing and just was a lot of fun writing that story. So
Jeremy knows what that's
And
like
this is the
because he
longest
doesn't
one.
stop.
yep. Until the
What's
fourth one comes out.
count
The
on
fourth,
this-
what's that? I'm sorry.
What's the word count on this one?
32,000 words, I think.
Okay.
And then the fourth book that's coming out, I think, was around 35,000 words. So that one will be the new longest book in the series. But at the time between those 3, that was the longest one.
Okay. I've always been curious because I'm a big proponent about the whole word count and everything because my books are long. The last 2 that I wrote, 130 some thousand words.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Twice as much.
Well, and I had Googled it too. Like the average length for a Goosebumps book was only 23,000 words. And I have a hard time keeping my books that short. Like they typically, the shortest book I had was 26,000 words. But I don't see how he got them in 23. I can't do it. I've tried to get it close to that. But hey, Connor.
Well,
There's no point in trying. That's your work. You do
Yep.
what you do.
in that word count, if you stay in, because word count wise, these are actually considered novellas.
Yep.
And that is a 23,000 word range. So, take
See,
that for.
I just decided to look this up because obviously everyone knows I'm always such a huge fan of these books. Obviously like a book like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I just looked up because all this talk, I thought, never really checked the word count on those books. And from what I got from looking it up, it's way lower. It's only like 8,941 words.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
That's
way low.
Short story.
Did you just say about and then use 8,941 words?
I mean, that's what it said.
That's not about. That
Okay,
is
fine.
pretty
Forget it.
precise.
I misused the word. Forget it.
Pretty straightforward to me.
It's all right. Forget the about. It is
There we
8,000.
go.
Yeah, see, so I'm always curious about whenever any book comes out, rather if it's something like this or something that's really really thick like The Stand or It. I'm always curious about the word count because every publisher, rather if it's regular publishing or self publishing or whatever, uh, the formatting is always different. It's never the same.
Yep.
And I'm guessing you did the formatting yourself.
No, I actually outsourced that too, just for the simple fact that I wasn't sure how to do it on ebook, and the guy does both of them included. So I just to speed the process up, I'll have him do formatting for printed copies as well as ebook. So
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm
And
just so
are
interested.
those available on like ebooks?
yes, yep. So right now they are available in paperback as well as ebook. And then I'm in the process right now. I got to send the offer to the guy, but the first book will be begin the beginning stages of the audiobook phase for the first book here
Okay.
soon too. So
I know my husband goes to sleep with audiobooks every night, and I don't know what it is. I cannot sleep to a woman narrator. I can't do it. And I also can't sleep to a person who raises their voice and lowers their voice and yells, and that wakes me up. I'm like, what the
Wait a
hell
second.
just
I gotta,
happened?
Adrian, I
They're
gotta ask
supposed to. They're reading the story, so they raise their voice when the character is
you.
speaking.
That's what I do
Not
on my
no,
audio
that's
book.
not sleep time books. That's normal books.
Yeah, but I raise my voice in my audiobooks. But here's my other question I need to ask then, Adrian, because that just gave me a reasonable question. What
Uh-oh.
if he was listening to your audiobooks that you've done for the Nightmare Soup books?
I'd wake up every 10 seconds. No way in hell. No way in hell.
Wait, okay, Nick, let's backtrack on that. You just said that just gave you a reasonable question to
No,
ask.
reasonable question.
So does that mean you're saying that every other thing that you've ever asked is unreasonable?
We'll talk
You
about
said
that.
it.
We'll talk about that later.
Filthy shades of gray. What the hell, Tom? Do we need to have a psychiatric session?
Well, with the audio thing, John, I did see a post that you just put out saying that you were auditioning for narrators and you had narrowed it down to two. I think.
Yep. I've got the final guy picked now. I just got to send him the final offer. I talked to him about timelines and stuff, and it'll probably be done by mid January because he's already working on another project right now. But that's when the first book will be done. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
That's
I
awesome.
would love to hear my husband narrate something. His voice is so. He did radio work, and that was part of his college, whatever. Before he went biker, but his tone is kind of monotone.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
and he does a lot of interviews for our company and stuff. So he's really monotone. Every once in a while, I'll come in here and I'll hear him say, "Well, but do you hear yourself? Well, stop it, stop it."
Adrian Zach has done an audiobook. Remember from last year?
It's better to not speak. Silence for a second than to go.
Yep.
I learned that in college because I got in so much trouble over that and got dock points.
Yep. Yeah, they say it's like that.
Judge
The
Judy,
whole
is not an answer.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, they say that the thing is basically our brain trying to fill the gap between things so you don't feel awkward, and that's what
It
it
is.
is.
It is. And, a lot of times we have to say something because otherwise somebody else is going to jump in, or you feel like, well, if I say, at least it sounds like I'm trying to say something.
Yep.
When it comes to the you know what has become the new and it is irritating as hell.
Oh, which
No.
one?
When somebody asks you a question and that person starts their answer with, I mean, Yeah. That bugs the shit out.
I've sometimes done that.
Yeah, but okay, when somebody posts a question on Facebook and somebody actually starts their answer, a typed out answer, I mean, whatever.
I mean,
I guess if I'm commenting on something or I even my posts a lot of times, I will type out things like that just because if that's how I talk, I'm going to type it out because they know it's me and they know, yeah, I'm going to be stupid when it comes down to it. If they don't know me, they will.
John, here's an idea. When you write your next book, you should have a scary story involving the word something happening.
That fucker's coming through the window.
All right, now back to the audiobook, John. What made you decide not to do it yourself?
You mean the narrating?
Yeah.
I feel like I would be too much of a perfectionist on my own accord. And I feel like it would take me a lot longer to be happy with my own voice and just one of those weird things. And I don't know.
How you sound on the playback.
Right, exactly. And then also too, like, I don't know if I could pull off some of the voices. Like Mr. Enstrom in the first book has a British accent. I don't know that I could pull that off convincingly. And like the monster in the second book, I don't know if I could pull off his dialogue, believe it, in a believable way. And it's just, I'd rather just leave that up to the professionals that know how to alter their voices and make it sound good. So.
Stop clawing, little heifer.
Dog trouble there, Adrian.
Well, she wants to play, and she's been laying up in the bed while I'm working all day long. I know she's excited. I know she wants to play.
What?
But damn it, her claws hurt. She sits there and bites them so they're sharp. And yes, Jan, your dog. Your dog. This is actually her dog.
Connor, I have a funny story to go with what you said about the whole water deal. When I was in school, we were in it was like a forensic speaking drama class, one of those things. He was an English teacher, and he actually went around to everybody, and he had one of those water seltzer spray bottles, and going, okay, say water. Okay, water. He goes to the next one. Say it, water. We did that until about the fifth or sixth student said, water. Yeah, you don't get sprayed. And then from then on, everybody said water and didn't get sprayed by that. And that was one of the funniest damn things I had ever experienced. And luckily, I was after that, so I didn't have to do the whole water thing. So I was able to avoid getting sprayed by water. I had to say that little story there since Connor did that.
I never heard you talk about that, so that was new for me, Jeremy.
I don't think I've ever told that story. It's just when Connor did that and actually said British, it just jogged that memory up. So thank you. All right. Another question that I do have. These are all independently published, so you are not tied to a publisher. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Do you plan on changing that anytime soon?
Only if they get big enough to where a publisher reaches out to me. I'm not going to go out of my way to reach out to agents or publishers anymore. I wasted a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time, but I wasted about 6 to 8 weeks waiting on agents. And, long story short, I came to the realization through a program I was using that 19 out of the 20 literary agents I reached out to didn't even read my query letter and just dismissed it without even reading it. So then I figured I'm just better off on my own and I'll just grow this thing myself. And it's going to take a lot longer, but that organic growth hopefully will continue to happen, and eventually they won't be able to tell me no.
And not just that, you get the benefits from it. You don't have to pay somebody.
Yep.
With these, the way that these are packaged, I cannot see how these would not succeed. I don't see it, because every one of these covers is very eye catching.
Yep.
Especially this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun one for sure.
Like I said, that's my favorite cover, but that may change once I get my hands on Scary Christmas, and that is coming out
Tuesday.
when?
Tuesday. Yep, it launches officially on Tuesday. So
Good. Yeah, really, really looking forward to that one. And then once I start up my 2024 reading, Welcome to Scareville is actually on cue, the second book for the year, and then I'm going to
cool.
read all of yours in succession. That's the plan.
Very cool. I appreciate it.
Tell me how you have time to do that and write every day the way you do. You don't even have time to take a vacation and walk away from it.
She's right. I've taken 2 vacations this year, and both times Denver was either the destination or passing through on the way to the destination. And every day that I've stayed at her house in the kitchen, I've got my laptop on in the morning and I'm writing out my stuff.
I've seen it. I was there for part of it.
I was actually riding in the vehicle. Somebody else is driving. Nick and I are sitting in the back seat. I'm in my seat, got my laptop, just tapping away.
And I'm just looking at him like,
yeah, life is going on around you. Life is happening. There's a time for work. There's a time for life.
Yeah, but I gotten myself into that mentality. I need to write every single day, because if I don't, then I'm not going to continue to get better. And it's the same thing with, you got to read. You can't expect to be an excellent writer without reading what's come before you.
Connor was actually asking one.
John is absolutely agreeing with that.
Yeah. Connor was actually asking, when is the 5th book coming out?
Joe is correct.
Joe.
Trust me, Joe. We've had some fun times on these trips, even with my writing. Trust me.
We went to the damn Abbey, and instead of talking about what we're going to do on the investigation, and while we're cooking and talking and having fun, he has no clue what's going on because he's writing some shit.
Except for that one time on the way back that I always have to repeat after what Scott said. That couldn't have come in a more perfect time, though, because you weren't writing that.
Huh?
The no-no-nos thing.
Oh, hell, I don't know what. Half the time you were asleep and got pictures taken of your ass.
What were you saying, Jerry?
I am going to put that in one of my books, though.
No, I was not sleeping at that point, Adrian. That was either before or afterwards.
Either way, it was all over the internet. Y'all are boring on trips. What the hell?
You've been on the road all day. At least for me, I was having fun, and I fell asleep from excitement.
Okay. So do you plan on Scareville being all that you write, at least for the time being? Do you plan on doing spinoffs like what R.L. Stein did with Goosebumps, and then he did
he did Fear Street as well.
Fear Street? Yeah,
Yep.
he did that. He did several spinoffs of Goosebumps. Are you planning on doing that, or are you eventually planning on writing a full-fledged novel?
Yeah. So the plan for right now is to keep writing Scareville. I've got about 30 to 40 book ideas I could conceivably write right now. Build that up as much as I can. But one day I do plan on dipping my toes into the adult horror novel space. Now, with that, I'm probably going to create a pen name for those books, not to get them confused. And I kind of wish I would have used a pen name for Scareville now, because there's 50 different John Ward authors, which stinks. But it was one of those pride things. I'm like, I want people to know these are my books. Like that's why I kept my name as it is. But after I published them, I'm like, God, there's 50 different John Wards that write books. This is frustrating. But if I ever do adult horror novels, I'm just going to create a pen name and make them separate. But
you have any particular ideas as a pen name for the adult horror novels, or is it still kind of too early to ask?
That's too early right now. I mean, if those books ever come to fruition, at that point, once the books are done, I'll use a name generator for all I care. I don't, but
I agree with Joe.
I found that one out.
I think Joe and I need to go on a road trip.
Well, after what he said, he may be old but not dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
He is he always says, I mean, he is a vampire. That's what he's always said.
He said, turn the radio way up.
Yeah,
I may be old but not dead yet. Joe, let's go on a road trip.
That actually sounds like a good chapter for a story, like for your book, like your books, John.
What, real life? Like people that enjoy life, that actually get out there and do something other than write? Jeremy, when you're on a trip.
Me, Adrian, I have enjoyed life.
Excuse me.
I have. But you also have to work on the craft.
You still have life ahead of you as well. So there's time for work. There's time for play.
Can't work also be play?
No.
You can. Yeah.
No, not with you. No.
All right. You know what? Okay, you drove me to it. I am putting you two together and me and John together. That way the riders are up on top.
Well, we can fix that issue.
But then we can take all this stuff that we write and start sprinkling some of these words down in there and giving you some imagination.
Oh, I have imagination, but the problem is, if I were to write, they'd be banned in 800 countries.
I could see that.
Adrian, with some of the stuff that's been put out there, you might be surprised what goes through.
There was there was another question here. I think it was Jill who was asked. Oh yeah, here it is. She doesn't know the books yet, but she's going to check them out. But will you do a scary tooth fairy boogeyman or even alien story?
Essentially, I won't rule anything out.
The tooth fairy, that's something I have not seen that might actually be kind of cool.
Mm.
I have not seen a spin on the tooth fairy.
There is one in Nightmare Soup, the first book we did last year. Jenny narrated it.
And also there's a movie called Darkness Falls.
Yep, that's right. Darkness Falls.
Man, I haven't seen that movie in forever. I forget.
Abby would be an inspiration for a character.
Yeah, it's been like many years since I've seen that movie too, John. It was like 10 years ago I saw it.
Well, at least.
And the fun thing about these Scarevilles is that it's all in a series, so that he can come up with all kinds of crazy contraptions.
Yep.
And create all different kinds of monsters like this one. How often do you see a pumpkin with candy for eyes and teeth in a Sour Patch nose?
Only time I've ever seen something like that was on the Creepshow TV series, but it was a different look too, so it was not exactly the same thing.
And well, I just now noticed you got a big ass spider on the top of the house of that cover.
Yep, Halloween decorations. Yep,
that's awesome.
Oh, is that what they are?
Yep.
Okay. So they're not. So the spiders, the zombie, they're not actually monsters then.
Correct. The monster is the main guy on the front.
Okay. I can't wait to read that one because, like I said, this is my favorite cover out of all of these.
Yep, that's a fun one for sure.
But I do want to see Snitch. That's what I named the elf on the shelf, Snitch. I do want to see him in action.
That's an interesting name.
Well, that's what he does. He snitches on kids.
Snitches get, and that's where the term comes from. Snitches get stitches.
Well, not from that, but nothing up on the shelf. But yeah, you are right on that one.
Yeah.
I never noticed that there were other John Ward authors. Because I did a search on your name and I got somebody who was on TV, a broadcaster, but I don't see other authors by that name.
Yeah. So when I went to, oh goodness, I think it's Goodreads, and I just typed in John Ward, there's a crap ton of John Ward authors on Goodreads. You literally have to type in the names of my books in order to find them.
I sometimes do that with some authors. They have like common names, like you got to type in the name and then you got to put the name of the book right next to it. I've had to do that a couple of times, so I know the frustration.
I'm looking that up. Yeah, I do see some. Okay, John William Ward. Well, at least this one used his middle name.
Yep.
Then there's another one who didn't use his middle name. Several, actually.
Yeah, there's like you said, there's like 50 of them.
There's a ton of John Ward authors.
That's a pretty popular name.
Yeah, you probably should have done like what Connor was kind of doing, like go with your first two initials and then Ward.
Well, see, people, my friends said the same thing, but I'm like, that's going to come across too similarly to R.L. Stine. Like, I don't know that I want to do that. That's why I didn't, but yeah.
You got a fair point there, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a fair point. Well, it's out there now, so you're kind of stuck with it.
Well, like I said, I wanted, like, it was a pride thing too. Like, I wanted people to know those were my books, like, especially like in school, like the teachers had said I wasn't going to amount to anything, like that kind of thing. Like, I wanted people to know those are my books. So
then you can go up to those teachers and go like this and go,
oh, yeah.
When I typed it in, like in Google, the only John Ward that come up was not even spelled like you. It was Jon, and he's a journalist. And
that's
then you.
One.
That's
I was the second one. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
And that's just in Google.
Very cool.
It will come over time. Once the Scareville is more popular, which so far they seem to be.
Yep.
And as they keep getting hit after hit after hit, eventually your name with those books is going to come up onto that first page of the results.
Yeah, this John Ward that comes up, chief national correspondent, some bullshit that he's scary. He is scary by himself, scary looking. It's no.
I mean, here's them. I mean, even like what Jill said, you should have the edition like John Ward the Conqueror.
No, I don't think I'll go with that.
Unless you had another one in mind, Adrian.
Well, we are now coming up on an hour and 10 minutes. And John, you said you only had time for an hour, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay that we ran over. It's not a big deal. I mean, if you guys have other questions, we can knock those out. But yeah.
Did have one quick question. I mean, it's not related.
We got the link, right? Okay, we got the link in there. So
I believe so. Yep.
That's good.
I got several links up there.
So I got one question. It's not related to the books, but are you going to be going back to Parasite Con next year, John?
I hope so. I like that they do it in, like, I think it's usually mid-May. I shouldn't be an issue. It'll be just depending on if it'll be that Saturday or Sunday, most likely. But yeah, I enjoy that. That Greg puts on a really good paranormal convention. If you guys ever get a chance, Parasite Con at the Ohio State Reformatory is well worth the trip. It's a lot of fun.
You know, Nick goes every year.
Yep.
Yeah, we're probably going to be back next year, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you again.
I want to go. The only problem is that it's always on the same weekend that my daughter's birthday is. So got to kind of pick and choose on that.
Yep.
I don't see a paranormal convention winning over my dog.
Yeah, that's understandable.
100%.
Speaking of convention, I think I said something to you about it earlier this year, but we are looking for vendors and authors for Unity in Peru, Indiana.
Okay. I don't know that you mentioned it or not. Maybe. I don't remember, though. When is that?
That will be the third weekend of October.
Next year.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we got plenty of time to figure that out. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we can definitely discuss that. That's not a problem.
Sarah just wrote down the date for Paris Icona next year, May 17th to the 19th. And yes,
Good.
let's go. I'll let you know.
Hopefully it'll be warm by then, because I remember the first Paris Icon at OSR. It was chilly that one the first year. It was cold, man.
I remember when I first met you like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It was kind of humid outside. Well, it was raining that day, but I did remember it was kind of humid out that day.
Mm-hmm.
So the weather definitely changes during that time of the year.
Yep, 100%.
And just being inside that jail, that in and of itself is just an awesome experience.
Oh, OSR, yeah.
I love it there.
Have you done the 6th floor challenge, John?
Oh,
What's that?
Have you done the 6th floor challenge?
6th floor challenge.
What is the 6th floor challenge? I mean, I might have. I don't know what it is.
Have you done an overnight investigation there?
Oh yeah, I've investigated there, I don't know, 7 or 8 times now.
Okay. The 6th floor challenge is where you go to the one wing that's got the 6 floors of. Mm-hmm. On that top floor, you're supposed to walk around that entire cell block without using a flashlight.
Oh yeah. I've done that. Yep.
Yeah.
They called it something different. They called it the Queens Row Challenge when I was there.
Yeah,
never heard of that.
Yep.
They just called it the 6th floor challenge when we were there.
Yeah. So he walked first, and then I did the same thing. I mean, I was nervous, but then after that, I got around the entire tier. And then what I decided to do next was I decided to walk the opposite direction.
Okay, that's cool. When I went there the last time, we had decided to try it in the solitary as well, the 2nd floor solitary, where we did the same thing with no flashlight, walked around, and did a lap. I mean, it's obviously much smaller too, but it was darker. It was it's creepy in there.
I had an advantage over Nick because I was wearing an eye patch at that time. So what I did is I took the eye patch and switched it over to the other eye, and I could see almost everything in pitch black with that one. So
yeah, that eye patch experiment was pretty cool when you came down here.
It was good. Oh, Chris, we're about to end this show.
So, John, I'll tell you, like I tell everybody who we have on the show that's decent. Yeah. We've had a few. But yeah, if you're ever down this way, you're welcome here. You got a free place to stay. You've got a haunted house here with 2 stories and a basement. Free food. Yeah. And we got lots of locations. But yeah, that's kind of the main thing when people come here. I like to see all the mediums and the different people that come here, see what they feel. Because we've only lived here. I have only lived here a little over a year. And this place was built in 1908, and it's all been his family, all except for 3 years of it. So at our wedding, we had more dead than we did living guests.
Wow.
And so every once in a while, not everyone, it's always, but there's always something going on here. It's pretty cool.
And she also likes to feed people.
Yes,
I do.
What Jen wrote, Adrian.
I'm from the South. You understand that. It's food. It's sweet tea. It's beer. It's life. It's normal.
Yep.
And don't forget, everybody, look these books up, Scareville.
Yes.
Now look them up on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. Where else?
Pretty much anywhere that sells books online. Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, Walmart. If you live in the UK,
Walmart, really?
Yep.
Walmart?
Chapters is another store that carries them.
I'm going there
Waterstones in
tomorrow.
the UK carries them. Yeah, but it's all online.
So okay, so it is also available for international release because
Yep.
one of our viewers, Nikki, she lives in Australia. So in case that she wants to,
Australia is a tricky one, but I think they've got some. I forget what the name of the store is. I'm learning these international online
If not,
stores.
I'll get it and send it to you. No problem. Jen, my sweet dear sister, I'll deal with you later.
And not only are they available online, but there are some actual physical copies available in some bookstores.
Yep. There's quite a few indie bookstores, and when I say indie, it means they're not a big corporation. They're just locally owned from small business owners. A lot of them here locally carry them. Some out in California, Illinois.
Those are usually the better bookstores because you can
yeah,
find
they are.
hard to find books there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really considering about wanting to actually get copies myself. So the fact that we got some of those type of selling areas, that might not be too difficult for me to get my
I'm
own
going to
copy.
Walmart tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, there's one in Illinois out by you, Nick. I don't know how close it is. I don't know what city it's in, but it's called
online.
It's called Bob's Bay Books. I don't
Bob's
know.
Bay Books.
Yeah. BOBZ Bay. Yep.
Wait, how do you spell that?
So it's like Bob with a Z at the end. Bay.
Oh, Z.
Yep.
Oh, Bob's Bay's book. That's in Bloomington.
Yeah.
And Bloomington, that's like wait, how far is that from me? Because I know the town of Bloomington.
Bloomington should be about 4-ish hours from you, Nick.
Oh, that's a long
No,
drive.
no, actually, no. It is far, but actually it's half of that, Jeremy. It's about 2 hours, 18 minutes. It's 2 hours, 18 minutes away from me. 143 miles. I want to take that back immediately.
That's a long drive.
It is so long. It's actually more closer to Peoria. It's like down in central Illinois.
Wait a minute. Are you talking Bloomington, Indiana?
No, Bloomington, Illinois. That's what John was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you guys have a Bloomington in Indiana too, but no, this is Bloomington, Illinois. It's near Peoria.
Yeah, anytime I think of Bloomington, it's always Indiana because of IU.
Yeah.
Adrian, it's Walmart online that you got to get his book.
That's okay.
Yep.
Walmart online works just as well.
That's actually, what's funny, like you said about Bloomington, that's where IU is.
Mhm.
Bloomington, Illinois is actually the college my sister went to. That's where Illinois State Wesleyan is.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So I guess we're going to wrap up unless anybody has any more questions. Anybody in the audience have any questions for John before we let him go? Nick, Adrian?
No, I'm looking for Walmart online right now.
If you have any issues, you can always message me and I'll help you find them if you have any issues. So
And if we want a signed copy, we have to get with you, right?
yeah, you'd want to message me for any signed copies and I can just ship them out direct from here.
Perfect. That's what we're gonna do.
I think I just even came up with a better idea because, like, if I want to get these books,
Well,
maybe just have Santa deliver them for me as Christmas gifts.
and the thing is, but if you message him directly and have him do it, it cuts out the middleman. It cuts out all that bullshit that he has to pay extra, and it goes straight to him. And that's what we want.
And that's a lot of times why people go do this self-publishing because it does cut out the middleman. Instead of making $2 a book, you're going to make 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And and I really had no idea that there was more than one book, even though we've been friends for a long time. So it's things like this to get out there. And all it takes is like one person, which I have too many damn friends on Facebook and I don't even know who they are, but that's not the point. And to say, look, take a picture of the book that they've got and go, look, this is cool. And that's all it takes.
Yep. Yep, that's the biggest way to grow organically is word of mouth. I have spent $0 on marketing on these books. I
Exactly.
have a lot of friends that are like, you need to do marketing. You need to do more. Well, I don't
Why?
want to because it could turn into a giant money pit, and I'm not willing to do that yet. So
Yeah, unless you're making more than you're spending, hell yeah, that's yeah. I definitely got you on marketing.
yep.
This will definitely open something else. I mean, a new door for me when it comes to these books because, like I said, as I always usually focus on, it's more of these scary stories tell in the dark books as well as the tribute books that have been made. I mean, I'm still obviously going to collect those, but I'm obviously willing to try out a new franchise, see what, these books are like.
You know what would be really cool? And of course, that would be something for you to get with John about and see if that's something he's willing to do. But, like you do, all of us narrating the little stories, like we can all narrate a part of it. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool because when we narrate those stories and it comes out, that's something that we look forward to every year. And everybody looks forward to hearing them every year. And I think that would also get the name out there.
Yeah, John, I don't know if you ever remember hearing about this. Hey, Denny, I don't know if you remember hearing about this last year, but we all got together to record a Scary Stories tribute book called Nightmare Soup. I don't know if did you ever see.
I think I remember it, but I don't think I ever got a chance.
It's all on YouTube. It's all for free, so you don't have to pay anything. But we actually are doing a second one right now. It's for Nightmare Soup 3. Now, I know some people wonder, saying, well, why are we going to the second one? There already was an audiobook made before we even did the first one, so it's not necessary to do the second. So we're coming back again for the third one. Originally, I was hoping to try to get it released by Halloween, but unfortunately, I'm still waiting for some people's stories, and I'm trying to make more time to get these audiobooks released. And so what I've decided to do instead, kind of similarly, like, you were saying about these books, like for people trying to get them for Christmas or something like that. And I didn't even tell you, Jeremy or Adrian, about this, but I was actually going to kind of call it the official Nightmare Before Christmas release, like releasing it just before Christmas.
That's awesome.
So,
Nightmare Soup Before Christmas.
Yeah, they're even better. Yes.
Because then they can kind of get you on the name, but
there you go.
Nightmare Soup Before Christmas.
I didn't even think of that. So thanks, Adrian.
All right. Right now, I am putting in the link for the Very Scary Christmas for people to go check out to pre-order. That does become available on Tuesday. And there's also another link for the ebook, and I don't quite have that.
Got it.
You can alternate between the two on the same link, so it'll have an option for paperback or ebook. So
looking forward to this, John.
Yes.
That Very Scary Christmas. That is such a creepy cover.
I love it. That's awesome.
Because their eyes glow.
I will message you so that you can give me the info so that I can get the book signed.
Yeah, absolutely. You just let me know and make it happen.
All right.
Definitely keep that idea in mind that Adrian had about the audiobooks.
Yeah. I mean, that is something we all enjoy doing it. And it's from here to Ireland to all of us enjoy doing that. We do it every year.
That's the other thing too. When I put the audiobook project together, my intention was, because the majority of those that were taking part in it, obviously, were all paranormal podcast hosts. And the idea was not only to get people who do podcasts, but obviously, if people listen to these audiobooks, they're going to say, hey, I recognize that voice. But more importantly, what I also wanted to do too, when I put this project together, was I wanted to get different paranormal podcast hosts from different parts around the world. So having different accents. So that way, in some way, you're making it far more diverse.
100%.
As long as you can understand those accents. Because I have problems with some of those sometimes.
Yeah, there's some that are difficult. I mean, I can understand them, but I know not everyone can. So
my dad was from Bulgaria. There's not much I don't understand. When you get, when you're a young age and you get A continue in your face all day long.
Yep.
You understand it very quickly.
All right. Well, John, thank you so much for being on the
Yes.
show. And from one writer to another, congratulations on
you.
this. This is, from what I've seen, has been fairly successful.
Thank you.
I can't wait to get into these in a couple of months when I'm able to. And I'm definitely going to be ordering the fourth one so that I can read all four of them back to back.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It
I
was
appreciate
definitely great catching up with you, John, as always.
Absolutely.
So hopefully
Thanks for
I'll
having
see.
me
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you at ParasyCon next year.
on. I hope so. For sure.
And it was good to actually meet you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have all these paranormal friends on Facebook that we rarely ever get to meet, if ever. And it's good meeting you today, for sure.
Absolutely. And you and your wife are always welcome here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And next week we are not doing a show because that's Thanksgiving. So want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Be safe out there. Be careful on Black Friday, especially the Black Friday that I just wrote. Adrian,
What?
love this one. Yeah.
That's why I'm taking Black Friday off from work. So I'm working Thanksgiving, but not only till 1 o'clock, in case anyone asks. But no, I'm not working Black Friday.
I think most places close at about 1, 2, 3 o'clock so that everybody can be able to have Thanksgiving dinner with their family.
Yeah.
Well, the grocery store I work at usually
I do enjoy that.
Usually they close at 3, but they're going to keep it open until 5. But it doesn't matter to me because I got off at 1. So either way, they're closing it down early so we can all be back home in time. So
It's awesome.
I'm also working because the extra pay involved, and also I'm going to be dressing up for Thanksgiving.
There you go.
That's the only reason you go that day.
Well, not in the extra pay.
I can see it now. If Nick was only working in the meat department so that he can cut up all that meat, and he goes in there dressed like a big turkey and come up to him and say, "Hey, can you charge me a turkey?"
It reminds me of that already reminds me of that Family Guy skit of Foghorn Leghorn going to a KFC.
I don't know about that one.
You would have to watch it to understand it.
So this show will be back on November 30th, and I will not be on the show after tonight because I'm having surgery on the 29th. I will be off of all shows for the rest of the year from that point on. So you're going to have to put up with Nick, Adrian, Eileen.
I can't promise we won't get the shows banned. I can't promise that. I can promise I'll be here, but I cannot promise they will not get banned. It depends on what Brad says. It depends on a lot of factors. We're not having.
But you're the enforcer, Adrian.
Huh?
You're the enforcer of the team.
Which means I'll probably get it banned.
Chris, it's like, Adrian, I'm not sure about all that.
I love you too, Chris. Wait till I get to scare the piss out of you in person.
So as it stands right now, the November 30th will be open mic night unless somebody is able to get a guest for that show. But we do have a guest for the following show, but I will let Eileen make the announcement.
Actually, on the show that we don't have a guest, I haven't said anything yet, but I'm going to. I want Jan on that show.
Okay.
The one on December 1st? The open mic night. I'm sorry.
The open mic night. I want Jan on that show.
Jan, what do you say? Give us a guess.
She's not going to have a choice. This isn't a choice. This is. Yes, you're coming on. No, you don't have a choice, and we're doing this. She said, "Okay."
Okay, so Jan's going to be the guest on the 30th. We have Eileen has a guest on the 7th, and Joe, how would you like to be a guest on the 14th?
Tom was also asking about
Joe. Our Joe?
Yeah,
our Joe.
Oh, that should be fun.
Okay.
Tom, I want Tom on.
Tom,
Yeah.
you can be on the following week. How's that?
How does that sound, Tom? I'm actually seeing him this upcoming Saturday. So
And then the next open space, I want Denny on.
okay, we got Joe. Just wait for Tom.
Okay, so that will make Joe on the 14th, Tom on the 21st if he accepts,
I'm just
And
waiting
then-
for him to respond.
and then Denny on the 28th.
Got it.
So that covers yes for the rest of the year.
Got it.
Where is? Okay, we got Tom. Yep,
Tom's
There we
in.
go.
and Denny.
So Supernatural.
Okay. I was getting ready to text him, but he saw it. Okay.
There is someone else that I gotta look. I can't remember her full name, but there is
Let's talk
someone else.
about that after the show. We
Yeah,
need to get,
after
we need-
I'm talking.
we need to
Yeah,
get rid
it
of
doesn't
John.
have to be now. It doesn't have to
we
be
need to
now.
get rid of John here so he can go to
Yeah,
bed.
yeah, I know.
Poor John. We have dragged him through the mud all night.
No, you guys have been great. No. Honestly, you guys have been great. I appreciate you guys having me on.
John, again, thank you so much for being on the show and talking about these books and talking some of the stories behind the books. It's not very often that somebody who has written a book is also talking about the process of the covers being made up and some of the promotion that you do. You don't get to hear that very often, so it's refreshing to hear a writer talk about that.
Right.
Yeah, and I have a boy that wants all the copies signed, so I will get with you, get a price, and we will get them to him for Christmas.
Sounds good.
Oh, wait, Connor said he would come on.
I didn't see. What are you talking about, Tom? I didn't see him.
Connor, what? Who?
Connor Biddle. I don't remember seeing.
Oh, okay.
Connor. I didn't see anything involving Connor.
Message one of us. We'll get it taken care of. Jeremy's going to be indisposed.
Yep.
So deal with Nick and I, and once he's back disposed,
my nose is going to be indisposed.
Yeah.
No, you're going to be indisposed. Don't even start that. You're going to be indisposed.
That's a good way to describe his fate.
The indisposable nose.
Yeah. So it's going to be us until he says differently.
Yeah. So Connor also wants to be on the show. We'll get him on probably the first show of the new year.
Oh, yep. Chris, don't even start.
I did not even see it. Hasn't even popped up.
I don't see anything of Connor saying he wants to come on.
So forgive us, Connor.
We'll get it. No problem. Message us. We got this under control. For now, let's let poor John go to bed. And that would be great. So we don't, maybe at some point he'll actually come back on again.
Oh yeah, you guys just let me know. I'm always down.
When you're ready to put the 5th book out, let's talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
we can do that.
So for everybody out there in the audience, thank you so much for playing along. Again, have a happy Thanksgiving and a safe Black Friday, because it gets crazy these years.
Just don't do it.
A lot of crazies out there this weekend.
Wait until Cyber Monday.
Yeah,
the best bet.
Be careful. There's a lot of crazy.
I won't fight another 9-year-old woman again. So
buy this guy's books.
Yes,
absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Be safe, y'all.